No, it's Bizet's. And I just started a live video, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commissioning ceremony will begin in 5 minutes.
You felt that okay with it, huh?
Hmm?
You felt that okay with it, huh?
Yep.
Who's viewing it? Okay. We'll just come on through it.
The commissioning ceremony will begin momentarily. At this time, we ask you to please silence all electronic devices. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cadet Emily Funderburg, and on behalf of the Wright State University Army ROTC Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Slover, we welcome you to our Spring 2021 commissioning ceremony. The Army Reserve Officers Training Corps, as it exists today, began with President Wilson signing the National Defense Act of 1916. Although military training had been taking place in civilian colleges and universities as early as 1819, the signing of the National Defense Act brought this training under a single, federally controlled entity, the Reserve Officers Training Corps. Today, Army ROTC has a total of 273 programs located at colleges and universities throughout all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and Guam, with an enrollment of more than 35,000 cadets. It produces approximately 60% of all second lieutenants who join the active Army, the Army National Guard, and the U.S. Army Reserve. More than 40% of current active duty Army general officers were commissioned through an ROTC program. Army ROTC courses were first offered to Wright State University students in 1974. The program commissioned the first lieutenants in 1976, and ROTC cadre were permanently assigned to Wright State Dayton main campus in 1978. An extension center agreement was completed in April 1980. The university and students have changed, but the goal of the ROTC program remains the same, to produce quality officers. On September 1st, 1997, the Secretary of the Army, the Honorable Togo West, established Wright State University Army ROTC as a host program, allowing for the establishment of the Raider Battalion. Wisdom, strength, and unity are our watchwords. Wright State University has worked hard to develop an intense program that helps cadets reach their fullest potential. Today is the culmination of a long journey of rigorous mental and physical training for these cadets that will take their oath of office and become second lieutenants and the next generation of leaders in the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, the Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Slober.
Good afternoon. Muffled, right? It's been a tough year. I think we all know that. As I was thinking about what I was going to say today, some key words from a friend of mine, some great advice. Be brilliant, be brief, be gone. Come to mind. 3 B's, he called it. As any one of these cadets sitting here, the soon-to-be lieutenants will tell you, I have trouble with the be brief part, especially in class, as they're watching the time tick by after our hour and a half of class. I will try to be brief, but it's hard. I mean, how do you sum up the last 4 years in 5 minutes or less? I sum it up like this. I'm proud. I'm very proud of these soon-to-be second lieutenants. This is my 4th year as the Professor of Military Science at Wright State. That is uncommon. Normally it's a 3-year tour, and oftentimes the Army takes us away with 2 years. So PMSs, Professors of Military Science, rarely have the opportunity to see a class all the way through, as I have with these young men and women before us today. I saw them when they came in, and now I get to commission them on the way out. And that's pretty cool. It has really been a pleasure of mine to be a small part of what I'm sure will be a great military career for all of them, in their own ways, their own fashions. The Army looks for agile and adaptive leaders. So let me tell you a little bit about the leaders you're about to see commissioned today. And we all know COVID has turned our lives upside down. From wearing masks to isolation to everything else that we've tried to do in our communities today. I mean, normally we would have room for 200 in this room. A nice buffet lunch back there for finger foods after we're done. Water in case you were parched. Can't do all those things. We had to make changes. The senior class does a lot of the training that we do throughout the year to prepare the next class for cadet summer training. Last year, we couldn't even have cadet summer training. These cadets went to an abbreviated cadet summer training at Fort Knox. Lots of changes. When they came back here, we had to deal with the school and their rules. We had to deal with an ever-changing environment with COVID. And we didn't know from one day to the next whether school was going to continue or be canceled, go remote, what? And through it all, they were able to adapt, change, overcome, and succeed at every challenge that came their way. I can't tell you how proud I am. Because if they keep doing this as Army lieutenants and as Army officers, then I have true faith that the Army is in good hands. Because that's all being an officer is. It's using your mind. This is what we hire you for. This is what we train you for, is to use your brain to think through the problems, accomplish things. They did that this year. Very, very successfully, I might add. I'm very proud of them. Something else I like to do at these commissioning speeches is to look at the families. I've seen the cadets. I know what they look like. I'm looking at you, family. Those of you that are sitting here today to share this special occasion with them. I mean, without you, they can't do what they need to do. They need your support. And they've needed it up to this point. I mean, we got at least 2 married cadets we've got engagements, we've got all kinds of different family involvement, significant others, parents, grandparents, uncles. I tell you, after my 31 years of military service, I couldn't have done it without my family. So families, thank you. Thank you for your current support to get them to this point today. And thank you in advance for the continued support you will give them in the days and years to come, because they will need it. Especially those spouses. Okay? I'm not going to lie to you. We are a force that deploys. It's what we do. As we call household 6, the spouse that stays behind, they're going to need a lot of help and a lot of support in those times. Families stick together, and the soldier does well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your help, your love, and your support, because they need it. And I know that they've got it just by looking around the families today. So I don't know if I said this, but I'm proud of our cadets. They deserve a lot for dealing with what they've done with over the 4 years. Our cadets at Wright State hold jobs. As I said, many are married already. They have military careers already begun, a lot of them, in the Guard or the Army Reserve. I mean, that's a lot that you have on your plate. And then you're a college student on top of it, taking a full-time course load. And then there's the little thing about ROTC. We tend to throw a lot at them, too. We ask a lot of time and effort and energy of them. That's a lot. That's not a standard collegiate career where you go to school and you maybe work in the cafeteria to earn a little soda money on the week for the weekends. Yeah, I know. I paused. It was intentional, believe it or not. Our cadets are going into the Army, I believe, mature, capable leaders. They've dealt with life's problems. They've dealt with issues at home. They've dealt with how to manage a career in an Army life. They've dealt with creative thinking around problems that led them here today. And so, as I said, I'm proud, because that is not easy to do. And as I've said, I've had a long career. 31 years is a long time. And I've seen a lot of officers that cannot handle that kind of stress. I do not see that in these new second lieutenants. I don't see that in any of our cadets at Wright State. Just letting you know. This is the kind of lieutenant that Wright State tends to produce. And I'm very proud of them and very proud of the program. Once again, thank you all for your support for the lieutenants today. I know this is probably the longest part of the program that we're going to see today. I apologize, but this is my last opportunity to say this to them, and I'm going to take every minute. So thank you. I appreciate it. Let's get you in the Army. Thank you.
At this time, we will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Abigail Schulze. Family and friends, feel free to come forward and take pictures at any time throughout the course of the ceremony. Second Lieutenant Schulze received her Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education, P through 5. Second Lieutenant Schulze is Branch Adjutant General in the Ohio Army National Guard. Lieutenant Colonel Slover will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Abigail Schulze.
Solemnly swear
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will proceed with the pinning ceremony for Second Lieutenant Schulze. Zach Schulze and Wes Saul, please come forward for the pinning. The President of the United States, reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Abigail Schulze, I do appoint her Second Lieutenant, Adjutant General, Army National Guard of the United States Army. As such, from the 2nd of May in the year of our Lord, 2021. Signed, John E. Whitley, Secretary of the Army. Second Lieutenant Abigail Schulze will now receive her first salute from Staff Sergeant Saul.
Staff Sergeant Saul, post.
We will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Svetlana Bizet. Family and friends, feel free to come forward and take pictures at any time throughout the course of the ceremony. Second Lieutenant Bizet received her Bachelor's of Science in Organizational Leadership. Second Lieutenant Bizet is branched Ordnance in the Ohio Army National Guard. Lieutenant Colonel Slover will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Bizet. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will proceed with the pinning ceremony and silver dollar salute for Second Lieutenant Bizet. John Meyer and Linda Clare, please come forward for the pinning ceremony. The President of the United States, reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Svetlana Bizet, I do appoint her Second Lieutenant, Ordnance, in the Army National Guard of the United States Army. As such, from the 2nd of May, in the year of our Lord, 2021. Signed, John E. Whitley, Secretary of the Army. We will now move on to the silver dollar salute. Second Lieutenant Bizet receives her first salute from Master Sergeant Carnell.
Master Sergeant down. Cornell, post.
We will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Landon Smith. Family and friends, feel free to come forward and take pictures at any time throughout the course of the ceremony. Second Lieutenant Smith received his Bachelor's of Arts in Crime and Justice Studies. Second Lieutenant Smith is branched military police in the Army Reserve. Lieutenant Colonel Slover will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will proceed with the pinning ceremony and silver dollar salute for Second Lieutenant Smith. Amy Smith and Michael Jones, please come forward at this time for the pinning. The President of the United States, reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Landon Smith, I do appoint him Second Lieutenant, Military Police in the Army Reserve. As such, from the 2nd of May, in the year of our Lord, 2021. Signed, John E. Whitley, Secretary of the Army. Second Lieutenant Smith will now receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Carnell.
Master Sergeant Carnell, post.
We will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Zayne Warrens. Family and friends, feel free to come forward and take pictures at any time throughout the course of the ceremony. Second Lieutenant Warrens received his Bachelor's of Science in Earth and Environmental Sciences with a concentration in Environmental Science. Second Lieutenant Warrens is Branch Chemical Corps in the Regular Army. Lieutenant Colonel Slover will now administer the oath of office to Second Lieutenant Warrens. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will now proceed with the pinning ceremony and silver dollar salute for Second Lieutenant Warrens. Sammy Warrens and Annalie Warrens, please come forward at this time for the pinning ceremony. The President of the United States, reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Zane Warrens, I do appoint him Second Lieutenant, Chemical Corps in the Regular Army. As such, from the 2nd of May, in the year of our Lord, 2021. Signed, John E. Whitley, Secretary of the Army. Second Lieutenant Warrens will now receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Carnell. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for attending, and please have a safe drive home.